Narendra Modi has taken oath twice. There is, of course, discussion on pleasantry that are exchanged during that meeting, even more so telling people what the vision of the government really is. But there is no discussion on any cabinet, etc. Because, when the oath takes place, that is when you know who's getting sworn in as a cabinet, who's getting sworn in as a minister of state. And on the basis of that, later on in the night, the release comes in from the Rashtrapati Bhavan, who tells you what ministries have been allocated. But this is more of a meet and greet. This is more of an assurance. This time around, even more, since you have so many allies of the NDA telling each other that we are here in this together. We are going to be taking the country forward. We have a vision in place for 2047. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will, in a way, be greeting each one of them for becoming the leaders in their own rights and for actually having chosen by the country to, in fact, lead them in various capacities in various ministries. So that's something which is slated to happen. It's a customary team meeting. There are no cabinet portfolios, etc., discussed over there, but it's more of pleasantries, more of exchange of ideas, etc., and a brief team meeting, which is it's a meet and greet kind of a meeting.
Right. Payal, please stay with us. We have Aman Sharma also joining us back on the broadcast. Aman, let's talk a little bit about the opposition as well. They are continuously saying that they don't have the mandate, so they are probably going to boycott the oath-taking ceremony today. Some of them are saying that they have not received any call. But if we were to talk about the mandate, BJP alone has more seats than the collection of what the opposition has managed to back themselves.
Well, absolutely, Sakshi, and that is what the Prime Minister said in the Central Hall of Parliament as well, that the BJP at 240 is bigger than the entire opposition grouping, which is at about 230 odd seats. And the BJP, by getting 240 seats, that is also more than what the Congress party had got in UPA 1 or UPA 2. UPA 2, in fact, they had stopped just about 206, and UPA 1, they were below 200. And the Prime Minister also saying it's also after 6 decades later that Prime Minister is getting sworn in for the third consecutive time after Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru. Of course, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru got 3 terms, but that time the opposition was almost absent. There was no effective, strong opposition against Mr. Nehru. But this time, Mr. Modi has won against Congress and, in fact, nearly all the regional parties of the country coming together in an opposition alliance. So it is a big victory. And along with the NDA, the BJP is comfortably, the NDA is comfortably above the majority mark at 293. That's almost 21 more MPs than required to prove your strength in the Lok Sabha. So the BJP is very clear that this narrative which has come from the opposition, that it is a moral defeat of the Prime Minister, the BJP should not stake claim. I think Mr. Modi has set that record straight on the account of saying that how his party has performed at 240 seats also. Yes, it is lesser than last time when the BJP had got 303 on its own. But the BJP...
JD gaining ground. It had gained a lot of ground in the last election. There were question marks around the JDU, but this time they aren't. And therefore, if you see, Bihar has got a fairly good representation.
We have to do this. Not only right now to create jobs over the next in the near future, but we have to think of the whole generation from now. And frankly, the preconditions for that are now the best that we've ever had. One, we have far better infrastructure. We have doubled the road mileage since 2011. We have quadrupled the port handling capacity. We are now one country thanks to GST. So all the local sales tax inspectors are part of history. And so I would say that plus the digital revolution has taken away much of the friction out of the system. And so what you need, there are definite things, the 3 laws, major laws that did not pass in the last 2 governments. I hope now the BJP has learned its lesson that you have to sell the reforms.
Right.
Margaret Thatcher used to say that she used to spend 80% selling the reforms, 80% of her time, and 20% doing the reforms. Well, I hope now with the coalition government plus a more aggressive opposition, the government has learned to reach out and sell the reforms to the people, but also to our political leaders. And so the point I'm trying to make is that there should be a chastening effect, but also there should be a vision now to move ahead, this should become the single agenda, single one-pointed pursuit. If
Okay,
we can achieve this, I think the country, I mean, we will also, the East Asian tigers, and the latest being China, the export of labor-intensive manufacturers, meaning incentivizing the PLI scheme, not
yes.
for production,
Okay,
but for exports and labor intensity.
okay.
These are there are ways to do it, but you'll require a will.
Well, I'm
And
sure, Mr. Gurcharan Das, if the economic agenda is put center stage, I don't think there'll be a problem amongst the allies at all. I think there'll be support for it because the spillover effect is obviously beneficial for everybody. But I just want to come back to Pawan Verma, who wrote a brilliant book called The Great Hindu Civilization, on the point that I think Mr. Gurcharan Das began with. Now, your book differentiated the ugly cut and thrust of communal prejudicial politics as it is practiced, and it has been practiced, from the pivot to civilizational dharmic Hindutva. Let's differentiate between these two issues first. So, do you really feel that Hindutva is going to be set aside? I don't think in the manner in which you and I perhaps interpret it, and a large, the RSS interprets it, I don't think that's going to be set aside. Yes, maybe the cut and thrust, the ugliness, and why is it, Mr. Pawan Verma, that the communalism which is centered around caste somehow goes unreported in this country? Yeah.
Thank you, Rahul. I think that the rediscovery or the reprioritizing of the discovery
Yeah.
of our ancient civilization, not in a exclusionary manner, but
Well, just
giving
hold your thought.
due
I think I just
emphasis
have with
and
me Shrikant
prominence.
Shinde, the Shiv Sena member of parliament elect from Kalyan. I'll come back to you, Mr. Pawan Verma. He's one of our newsmakers. Let me go straight across to him. Mr. Shinde, good evening. Thank you for speaking to us. A quick question to you.
Good evening.
How important is the agenda of governance rather than what you can extract as a party in the form of berths and other, let me just put it like this, fish and loaves of office?
It was never about the numbers, how many berths or how many seats, how many portfolios we'll get. It is about the ideology which we carry since last 25 years, which had been broken for 2.5 years, but again we came together. And this is all about ideology, and this is not about any satta ka samikaran, what we can extract from the government. It is about the good governance, the governance which took place, if you see, last 10 years under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji. Numerous development works were carried out throughout the various parts of the India and also in my constituency. So it is always about the good governance, not about getting something out of it. Today also, as a partner of NDA, we supported the government, we supported Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji without any negotiation, without any numbers that we want so many berths, then we'll support you. It is not, it is about the ideology, it is about vichar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the larger issue. So let me ask you, Mr. Shinde, how do you interpret the result that's come out of Maharashtra? You've suddenly seen a resurgence of the Congress. The NCP, the Sharad Pawar NCP has held strong. The BJP's numbers went down. Where did it all go wrong?
See, there are number of factors which are responsible for this. First, the false propaganda which was made, like Samvidhan Bachao, Samvidhan Khatre mein. This false narrative which the opposition set, we could not break the narrative. That was the major problem, major setback for us, that every minority, they could reach each and everyone and tell them this false propaganda. झूठ बोलो लेकिन जोर से बोलो जिससे लोगों को लगे कि वो सच है करके. किसी को संविधान बदलना नहीं है, but no one really wants to change the संविधान, because we were the one who celebrated the संविधान दिन. We are the one. The old parliament been converted into Samvidhan Sadan. So we always respected Samvidhan. और संविधान के ऊपर चलने का काम जो है हमारी सरकार ने यहाँ पर किया है, लेकिन ऑपोजिशन ने जिस
Shinde,
तरीके
that's
से
a
प्रचार
debatable
किया,
point,
ये जो
because-
उनको वोट्स मिले,
That's a debatable point, many
So
people
we are
would say.
debating.
Yeah, I know. So many people would say, for example, that
Yeah.
when the government was formed first by Mr. Fadnavis with the help of Mr. Ajit Pawar, that wasn't a example of demonstrating constitutional propriety. Then when you broke away from the UBT, that was seen also as something that was not in tune with political propriety. Do you think you've answered those questions, or do you think the loss, for example, of Sharad Pawar's faction,
no.
I mean, sorry, of Ajit
Listen,
Pawar's
listen,
faction has reopened that question?
see, Shiv Sena and BJP
Right.
share the same ideology. We came together as the same because we share the same ideology, and pre-polls we fought the elections together, and then we did the alliance together after 2.5 years, which was expected to the common masses, common people, common voters. But during these Lok Sabha elections, which I said, the false propaganda which was made, I think we fell prey to this false propaganda. People voted for this false propaganda. और देखो ये जो सीट चुन के आए, I'll give you the example of Mumbai.
Okay.
You see UBT seats, they won 3 seats in Mumbai. As an NDA, we won 2 seats. 3 seats, this UBT won is from, they got a lead margin from mohallas, from the minority vote banks. They didn't get the traditional vote bank of Shiv Sena. The traditional vote bank of the Shiv Sena stayed with us.
Okay.
The traditional vote bank was 19%. We got 14.5% of the traditional vote bank. So traditional vote bank stood behind us, but because of this false propaganda, the UBT candidates won with a very little margin. If
so
the
you've
people
done
were with
clearly
them,
better.
let me complete. If the people, if Shiv Sainiks, if the Shiv Sainiks were with them, they should have won with the maximum majority.
I understood the point you're
But
making.
people stood behind us, and because of this false narrative, the voters
There's
which,
no doubt that
fell prey
there's
to
no
this
doubt that
and
Shiv
voted for
Sena
opposition.
under Mr. Shinde has done better of the two factions. There's no doubt about that. You even got a seat more. But let me just very quickly ask you this: do you have any personal ambitions? You said that I didn't really want a berth. Now you've been sort of not included in the cabinet. Quick response to you. Response from you.
See, today I think it is very important for our party to be strengthened at the grassroots level. And I think being in Mantri Mandal will not give me that chance to strengthen my party, and not that time also. And also it is a very good example set by Honorable Chief Minister that a Karyakarta who is working day in day out to make party bigger, the person we chose, he is a 3 times MLA, 4 times Member of Parliament, also ex-minister, and who is there to take Shiv Sena ahead.
Okay.
And it is a very good example that a Karyakarta has been made a cabinet minister, not the CM's son. I think prior examples, or if you go in the history, you will see that the father is a chief minister, the son who is the first time MLA who has been inducted in the cabinet.
Okay. So
without
you're saying
any
you're setting
experience.
a new example.
So
Fair
I am
enough.
the member of parliament. I am the member of parliament 3 times, but still I prefer to stay out.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for speaking to me. When we come back, we're going to go back to all our reporters to get a sense of what this cabinet looks like. Pawan Verma is also there with us. I'll come back to him after this short break. And Rahul Verma stays on with us. Thank you, Mr. Gurcharan Das. Naren Mehta also stays on with us. We're taking a very quick break, viewers.
ऐ भारत हम चल पड़े इस जुनून किस शान से जन्नत नुमा कश्मीर से.
He's the big face, commerce and industry, textiles and consumer affairs. Also someone who can come out and present the BJP's point of view and can be the BJP's face from the government towards the media. Remember, he's the one who addressed the press conference when there were allegations made by Rahul Gandhi over the alleged stock market scam. Jyotiraditya Scindia, the one who entered from Congress last time around, he was quickly inducted into the central government. He served as civil aviation minister. He's of course one from Guna, his Gad again. Now civil aviation again is a prime focus, new airports, more delivery, more flights, cheaper flights and things like that. His tenure was possibly a little bit more rocky than some of his other colleagues. Kiren Rijiju, of course, he served as the law minister and the sports minister in the past. We are being told that he could be, of course, in the cabinet one more time. Jitendra Singh, he served as the union minister and of course MOS, PMO as well. He won from Udhampur. He is likely to continue. Sarbananda Sonowal, he is of course from Assam, big northeast face. Along with Himanta Biswa Sarma and Kiren Rijiju, he served as the Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. Again, a big focus of the government. And remember, Modi Sarkar 2.0 already gave a task to those who will be in 3.0 to present a 100-day program. And a lot of these ministers would have done that. In some of those key deliverable ministries, you do want that there should be some continuity. George Kurian is with us. George Kurian, not many surprises. And certainly no pushes and pulls that maybe the Congress and other parties or the India Alliance members were expecting. This is as smooth as it goes, regardless of the result.
Well, Shivani, good afternoon to you, to my co-panelist on your show, and to your audience. It's a good thing that the Indian government is keeping in line with the priority accorded by India to the neighborhood first policy, and they have invited our neighboring countries, be it Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan. Having said that, I really appreciate if the government could have invited Pakistan also, because that way the bilateral talks could have taken a shape, and things could have been more clear as far as Pakistan is concerned. Having said that, I also want to reiterate for the benefit of your audience is that this 3.0 NDA-led Modi government won't be in that capacity as we have seen back in 2014 or be 2019, because here the NDA allies will play an important role with respect to their saying as well, because it's a moral defeat for the Modi government, because they have been limited to 240 and decimated from 303. So that is one thing, and they haven't crossed the halfway mark on their own. So that is one thing, and I really doubt if this government will complete a full term, because we also understand that Bihar is going to come, the assembly elections in Bihar is next year. Anything, because Nitish Kumar has been very vocal about the special status to Bihar and beat Chandrababu Naidu with respect to Andhra Pradesh. So these are the priorities. They will keep pushing the Modi government, and if they don't live up to the Modi government or the NDA doesn't live up to the expectations of Nitish Kumar or Bihar.
There is no denying that there are going to be issues. Some will be contentious, and that's how it goes in a democracy. I don't think there weren't contentious issues even last time around either. But Rahul, what do you believe? Will those contentious issues derail Modi 3.0?
Very highly unlikely, of course, because look, as it is, there are no ideological issues that the BJP has already sort of ring-fenced. So they've already had experience where they set aside some of their core issues of the past. If you remember Article 370, Ram Mandir in previous iterations, and also Article 370 wasn't on the so-called syllabus of the government of Jammu and Kashmir when they tied up with PDP. It was to actually bring that in, that the BJP sacrificed its government. There are no real ideological deal-breaking issues right now. Even on the UCC, it's now pretty much accepted that the states will bring in their own variations on the UCC and implement them. I don't even think there will be a requirement for a national level UCC beyond just symbolism. That is something that I also suggest that we should look out for. I think what is going to happen over the next few years is that increasingly BJP run states will bring in what they believe are legislations to bring in a UCC, so that key ideological issues also been set aside. Yes, there could be, however, some tension with regards to special economic packages. Now, whether you want to call them special economic packages of the kind that are no longer allowed, of course, under the new provision, but you could have a little back and forth between the allies and the BJP on the terms of those financial, let's call it bailout packages.
Or grants, special grants given.
Remember, Chandrababu Naidu has just come to power once again in Andhra Pradesh. He's going to look to consolidate. It's a very opportune moment for him because the Congress did not make an impression on voters. The BJP remains a very small ally even now. They are by far a room to sort of grow and consolidate itself. The YSRCP also pushed to the margin. It will take a little while before Jagan Reddy can get his act together. So there is also, of course, the issue of succession in the TDP, which needs to be taken care of. For all of that, Chandrababu Naidu is going to want to show to the people of Andhra that his association with the Prime Minister has been beneficial to them in a transformative way. And of course, in Bihar, the same issue. Bihar goes to about polls in about 17 months, willy-nilly. And there again, the BJP would like at some level or the other to consolidate. They have lost about 8 or 9 seats there. They don't want to see the RJD gaining ground. It had gained a lot of ground in the last election. There were question marks around the JDU, but this time they aren't. And therefore, if you see, Bihar has got a fairly good representation this time. The LJP has been accommodated in at least 5 more leaders. If you just quickly look at the math, I think it's about 5 or 6 people have come in from Bihar.
I think it was 5 last time and
That's right.
6 this
So they've
time.
actually increased the number. And again, there the opposition is goading Nitish Kumar to demand a special financial deal from the centre. So that is something that Nitish Kumar will be looking over his shoulder at, because remember, he's the Chief Minister of Bihar. He's a kingmaker at the centre, and he wants to tell the people of Bihar that, look, he has influence over Mr. Modi. So I don't think they're too bothered about cabinet berths. I think they're going to look
more of what the
fundamentally
states will get from them. Let me take quick comments from our other guests as well. R. Rajagopalan, what do you think about that? Will the allies be a little bit more free to press as far as Narendra Modi is concerned, or would they already have assurances that as long as their state gets what they want to deliver for their people, everything is hunky-dory?
Shivani and Rahul Shivashankar, having known Mr. Narendra Modi in very personal quarters, Modi converts crisis into an opportunity. He is master of that. Whichever crisis it comes, he has managed many crises, including 370, as Rahul Shivashankar mentioned. And second thing, running coalitions is not a easy joke. I do agree. Nitish Kumar and Naidu will create problems, but at the same time, Narasimha Rao and Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee ran a government of coalition. Now I would like to give you a mathematics. PV Narasimha Rao plus Atal Bihari Vajpayee is equal to Narendra Modi 3 votes, because Narendra Modi will master the efforts of Mr. PV Narasimha Rao's ability, capacity, capabilities, and also gone by Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Therefore, there is no problem. Now, coming to the crux of the problem, Rahul Shivashankar will appreciate what I am going to say now. 3 things will be very important for running the government, madam. 1, Prime Minister will go for EGOM, group of ministers. He will try to revive that. What Manmohan Singh did, Modi, because of his root roller majority, he did not go for it. Second thing, Deputy Speaker. Mr. Narendra Modi did not have a Deputy Speaker in second term. Now he has to revive it because of the compulsion.
Political parties, the Congress, for example, who've joined, who have been given berths, for example, Mr. Bittu, and there is also, of course, Jitin Prasada, who's been there, of course, with the BJP now for about 5.5 years. But viewers, allies also accommodated. Many people will look at the cabinet and say, not many big surprises. A few people who've been left out, of course, there are already conversations going on about how they will be accommodated. Some big surprises there. Smriti Irani didn't make it. Though she did lose, but she did make it. People were expecting her to be injected in some way. Anurag Thakur not making it this time, at least as of now. Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar also overlooked. Jay Panda, another name. But remember, viewers, there's government formation going on. Very limited news coming out of what is happening in Odisha, because that's where you have a race for forming a state government on the back of a very successful assembly election campaign. Jitin Prasada, big name, returns to a cabinet position after 10 years in the wilderness, really, because if you remember, viewers, under the UPA, he held at least 3 MOS positions, which were quite influential. Mr. Pradhan sitting there, Nirmala Sitharaman, HDK Kumaraswamy, Mr. Khattar, surprise Nitin Gadkari, Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh. That's Jitanram Manji is been brought to the center. He was, of course, once a chief ministerial claimant in Bihar. Shivraj Chauhan rewarded for great showing both in Madhya Pradesh at the Lok Sabha level and the Assembly level. Let's try to go across now to Aman Sharma to get a firmer handle on the math behind this cabinet, the choices, and of course the political calculations as we see Sarbadan Sonowal and of course the others. Yes, Aman, give us a quick overview of what we are seeing here.
Yes, Rahul. So I am at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Just behind me, you can see the Rashtrapati Bhavan. I am about to go in for the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Council of Ministers contours. If I see, I can now count, Rahul, about 67 ministers. This is a big, big Council of Ministers. In 2019, I remember the first oath when it was taken, about 57 ministers plus Mr. Modi. Today, I am counting already about 67 ministers. 67 out of 67, about 55 from the BJP, about 12 from the allies. So the allies, we are seeing the big names from the ally camp coming up in the name of K. Ram Mohan Naidu, of course, a senior member of the TDP, Mr. Lallan Singh. From the JDU, there is Jayant Chaudhary, there is Chirag Paswan, there is Jitin Ram Manji, there is Anupriya Patel, S.T. Kumaraswamy. So big names from the ally camps making it to the Council of Ministers list. But I think the bigger news here is in the BJP list, a big message of continuity. All the senior ministers of the BJP, Mr. Rajnath Singh, Mr. Amit Shah, Nirmala Sitharaman, Ashwini Vaishnav, Nitin Gadkari, Piyush Goyal, Mansukh Mandavia, Arjun Meghwal, Bhupendra Yadav, Mr. JP Nadda is also expected to be a part of the Union Council of Ministers. JP Nadda, the outgoing BJP president, is also expected to be inducted in the Union Council of Ministers today evening. We have senior names like Gajendra Shekhawat, who's also making it to the list. Prahlad Joshi, Jyotiraditya Scindia, of course, is making it to the list. These are the big names which are showing a message of continuity. Also, the ministers who are the real growth engine, I would say, of Modi 2.0 government. The talent which came up in a big way in Ashwini Vaishnav, Nitin Gadkari put up a phenomenal performance in the roads and highways ministry. So these people are coming in. The new talent which is coming in from the state governments. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar, C.R. Patil, former chief ministers, former state heads of the BJP who have delivered big successes for the party being rewarded, brought into the center. Watch out for a top ministry for Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Manohar Lal Khattar. Even C.R. Patil, I won't rule him out for a top ministry. So these are the people, which could throw up surprises when the portfolio list comes out. Also 7 to 8 women are making it to the list, Rahul, because many women faces of the BJP have, unfortunately for the party, lost in these elections. Priti Irani, Menaka Gandhi, they have lost in this election. So new women faces making it this time. The Shobha Karanjale, there is also new ministers from Maharashtra and other states. We could see them getting key ministries like women and child development, textiles maybe. The people you missed out, it's also very interesting, Rahul. Be it Anurag Thakur, Smriti Irani, Rajiv Chandrasekhar. It is interesting to find out why these people have missed out. Maybe the party has bigger plans for them in the party organization. The BJP also would need that strengthening. But I think a key message also, Rahul, is the RSS say in this. We see Mr. Nitin Gadkari, we see Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Manohar Lal Khattar. All of these are dried in the wool RSS backing people who are back in the government now, who are joining the central government. It would be interesting to see how the BJP and the RSS do this fine balancing act in this government as well. Because there have been, in the election campaign, we have seen some statements come that the BJP does not need the RSS anymore. Well, the results have clearly shown that the RSS is needed by the BJP more than ever, maybe in the third term of the Modi government.
Let me also bring in Payal Mehta. Stay on with me, Aman. Let me also bring in Payal Mehta. Payal, of course, is also at the BJP headquarters. She's also making a move towards the Rashtrapati Bhavan, where she's going to be part of that oath-taking ceremony. Payal, you interviewed the Prime Minister. He's known to be decisive campaigner. He's also known to make some surprising picks. JP Nadda set to return to Union Cabinet. He was, of course, the president of the party. His tenure is coming to an end. Give us a bit of a backgrounder on this. What's happening here? And who's going to be BJP president then?
Rahul, I'm not going to second guess as to who's going to become the BJP president, because there are several names that were doing the rounds, whether it was Shivraj Singh Chauhan or Manohar Lal Khattar. All of these people are now part of Narendra Modi's cabinet to be sworn in this evening. But JP Nadda has a long record of being with the party. He started in the party as a Yuva Morcha worker. He's been in the party for a very long time. Has held multiple terms as the party president. His term is going to come to an end this June itself, which means that there's somebody else who's going to replace him. But JP Nadda was also part of Narendra Modi's cabinet in the first tenure when he was the health minister of the country. and now he's set back to return as well. So there is a very important position which is vacant, Rahul, in the Rajya Sabha, because Piyush Goyal is now in the Lok Sabha, which essentially means the leader of the House position is vacant. It'll be important to see if Mr. Ladda is made the leader of the House. He's somebody who's said to be very soft-spoken, at the same time a hard taskmaster. And in the Rajya Sabha, the BJP does not have majority, so they obviously need a leader who can actually coordinate and cooperate with all the opposition parties and, bring everybody on the same page.
That's very interesting. Payal, we've done a bit of a caste math on this. 42% upper caste, 33% OBCs, 15% SC, 6% ST, others 4%, which could be the minorities, Sikh, Buddhist, Christian. How do you put this number? And of course, there is the women component also.
Well, of course, Narendra Modi has always spoken about the fact that there has to be Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Vishwas, and that's the reason representation has come for all castes possible as well. Given the fact that the Prime Minister himself, Rahul, is the biggest OBC leader that you have in this country as far as politicians are concerned, he's been somebody whose image has been unblemished as well. The BJP also known to promote people from the lower strata of society and also people who had humble backgrounds. So a lot of combination of that is to be seen as well. The Prime Minister has promised the country that by 2047 he will be a developed country, which essentially means that he feels that garibi hi sabse badi jati hai, so the poor you have to work to work. And also women and youth have to be empowered. So quite a bit of these messages that the Prime Minister has tried to send through his cabinet.
Payal, you have very close ear to the ground. I want to ask you, are the big portfolios, the core 4 or 5, let's say 6 portfolios, are they going to see a reshuffle?
I really doubt it, Rahul, given the fact that when you have an Amit Shah who's already been the Home Minister of the country, you can't take him any lower. Rajnath Singh has been the Defence Minister of the country and the Home Minister of the country in the past. Where will you put him next? Nirmala Sitharaman has occupied the chair of the Defence Minister and Finance Minister. Where would you put them? So obviously it's going to be quite a bit to watch out for if at all there are any changes. And of course Mr. Jaishankar continues to be the External Affairs Minister. The Prime Minister is going on an overseas tour. Next week he's going to be going to Italy for the G7, and obviously Mr. Jaishankar is very much preparing for the tour. So I really have my doubts if there will be a change as far as the portfolios are concerned. And that's why it was conveyed to the alliances that, these 4 portfolios will stay with the BJP.
Payal, final question before I let you go. I know you have to go into that big ceremony and the gathering, etc. I wish I could be there. I was supposed to be, but we're rolling here. Just wanted to quickly ask you, Payal, simply this, and straightforward question. What about the speaker? Is the BJP going to get its speaker, or is that going to be a bit of a spanner in the work situation?
It's going to be a little bit of a thing in the work to see because, obviously MPs will have to take oath and they'll have to appoint a pro-term speaker because within the ranks you have Jewel Oram is a multiple time, but Jewel Oram is going to be a part of the cabinet because he was there in the meeting yesterday, in fact today. And you also have the likes of Mr. Virendra Kumar, who is also one of the oldest MPs, about 8 times MP. He's also in the cabinet. And we never know with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Nobody would have thought that, Om Birla, who's a 2-time MP, would be made a speaker. So let's see what he comes up with. You can expect a surprise in that respect as well.
Do you also believe that there could be deputy speakers? Because we haven't seen that happen in the last 10 years.
No, in the last 5 years, the BJP wanted to have a deputy speaker in place, but the BJP was more than happy in giving it to a friendly opposition party like the BJD. But the BJD had their own internal rumblings happening and they did not want the position of the deputy speaker.
Okay.
In fact, that opposition was also offered to YSR Congress, who said that it was no point of having a deputy speaker in place. So obviously that position remained vacant.
Okay, thanks very much, Payal Mehta, for giving us a comprehensive view. Aman and Payal both reporting on these names. Viewers, it's all going to explode onto our screens in wondrous scenes in about 2 hours and 2 minutes. So do stay tuned for that magical moment. But let's open this up and have a quick conversation. We're hoping to also get Rahul Verma back with us. We missed him. We couldn't go to him in the earlier broadcast. That's the live picture coming in from the forecourt, viewers, of Rashtrapati Bhavan. What a glorious scene that is. The red carpet's laid out. We're going to have foreign dignitaries. But very quickly, Nalin, first of all, what do you make of this team that has been put together? Continuity, the message, or is BJP telling us desperately that, look, we might not have all the numbers, but we certainly have all our people?
No, I think the message is continuity. That's certainly the message the Prime Minister wants to put out. If you look at the size of the list that's been put out in terms of the number of ministers from the BJP and the allies, which you've been reporting, Rahul, Aman has been reporting, and reporters across the network, that shows a pretty decent balance. In fact, we've just had Mr. Fadnavis releasing a statement saying that the NCP had asked for for one more berth, and that's not been given, and Praful Patel is already an MOS in that. So I think at the moment the message that's been given out is that is not a complete free for all. There is a strong there is a continuity, there is a balance, and so on. And that may or may not last, but that's the message for the moment for sure, Rahul.
Okay, that's very interesting.
I think it's about soothing nerves at this point. That's what the PMO wants to put out, I think.
Soothing nerves and continuity. Shekhar Iyer, glance your eye across the picks. Now, you know that we have, of course, all these names, and there is a caste combination that we put out. The data is out there, state composition. The two leading states are Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Between them, they have 9 and 8 cabinet berths. I've done a quick back of the envelope calculation there too and put it out and tweeted it. The other big states that are big gainers are, of course, Maharashtra that comes in. Gujarat also gains quite a bit. Now, are you surprised at the sort of preponderance towards UP and Bihar?
No, I'm not surprised because the priorities for BJP will remain in these two states. And apart from the states that are going to polls end of this year as well as next year. But this is not the final cabinet as such because there could be further expansion as things settle down. But one thing is clear, some of the key ministries, key portfolios are with the BJP and they're going to remain so because these are part of the Prime Minister's plan for the third term. Yes, even today the pep talk he gave to all the new entrants was very clear that they have to work on those 100 days goal, which is a part of that Prime Minister's Viksit Bharat. So things are rather clear as to what the Prime Minister wants. Prime Minister is looking at his Viksit Bharat plan, and what he wishes to show is, despite the fall in numbers, his government is going full steam on what has already been thought out, planned, and even timelined. So that is the big message that is coming. That is the reason why you don't see changes, or you are not going to see changes as far as the major portfolios are concerned.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Ansari. Mr. Ansari, good evening. Very quickly, you know, obviously the opposition was expecting a little more drama. They thought that this would be a protracted exercise, that perhaps it would be prolonged because of bickering and fights over who gets what. But the allies seem to have taken that message down that, look, we are going to put governance first. It's a united front here. Very different, very distinctly different from the fracas we saw in 2009 when the UPA was bogged down by a large number of, well, the Congress allies who were really gymming up their positions to get berths. And then you had this unseemly scandal that broke out where influencers were trying to get this berth for that person, fit him in here, fit him in there, to get certain favors done for big corporates, etc. All of that missing. What a change, Mr. Ansari.
How do we know? We got to know of the influencers' role 6 months, 7 months or a year after the government was formed. So wait, let's not pass judgment too early. As far as the fracas is concerned, it's explainable, the lack of it. They're basically two major allies and the rest are all also ran. So they're not in a position to do too much. We already seen that Mr. Praful Patel's name is missing. One notable omission is Ravi Shankar Prasad. There doesn't seem to be a way in for him as yet. Why, we do not know this, despite the fact that he's won once again against odds in Patna. They brought in Mr. Ravneet Singh Bittu, who had joined from the Congress recently and lost the election. Yet a place for him has been found. And of course, there is no place. Everybody has got representation, but there is no place for anybody from the Muslim community, which obviously, given the circumstances, is not surprising at all.
Well, I don't even know if there were any Muslim candidates that came through for the NDA. There has been, of course, people taken from other denominations that have won. But Mr. Ansari, very quickly, coming back to you on this point, fundamentally speaking, the opposition seemed to suggest that Modi would have a very difficult time accommodating his allies. That hasn't happened. You'll have to concede. This has been done within the time frame that was supposed to have been set by the Prime Minister himself. He said that, look, we're going to have a swearing in on Sunday, June 9th. It's happening.
Yes, the timeline was set. by the Prime Minister. And what does one, I mean, do you really expect that the opposition would have said, no, 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 Prime Minister Modi, everything will be hunky dory, everything will go on seamlessly? They will try and even find faults where none exist. That has given the nature of the current nature of politics. It's so there's so much of bitterness on both sides that every inch of turf will be fought for.
Okay, Karan Verma, let me ask you this. Let me spin this question around. Is it because the Prime Minister does command authority and respect that we have people willing to listen to him and work in a manner that is in step with his vision, his pace perhaps, because he's done this for 2 terms now and got the BJP results?
Oh, absolutely, Rahul. We saw that at full display during the parliamentary meeting, where we saw Nitish Kumar speak, Chirag Paswan, and all others speak. Let's understand this, Rahul. If we just separate, let's not miss the forest for the trees.
Okay.
Prime Minister Modi is a once in a century political phenomenon. He will go down in history as perhaps the biggest political phenomena alongside Nehru. In the last 60 years, he's the man who has been elected for the 3rd time, and people were awestruck in his presence also. They want to be a part of this great Indian story. They want to, at the end of the day, what are they in politics for? They do want to hold portfolios, help this machine move forward, and they understand that the central fulcrum of the NDA is strong. BJP on its own has 89% of the seats that are required for the majority, 240 out of 272. So they know this is the alliance that's going to last. So let's come together and work. Yes, we can bargain a little, we can negotiate a little. And look at the cabinet picks also. We have 5 former chief ministers in this round. This shows you that, this is a well-oiled machine which has stalwarts in it, which has people who have credible hands and who've delivered in the past also. Heading states hasn't been easy. We have 5 CMs here. H.D. Kumaraswamy, Sarbanand Sonowal, across party lines. Jitin Ram Manji has been a chief minister, Manohar Khattar, Shivraj Singh Chauhan. So we not only are looking at representation, we are also looking at some merit. People who've delivered with governance or at least governed in the past. So everybody wants to be a part of this story rather than be a part of a listless ship without a rudder which is at the mercy of winds tossing hither and thither. So that's why I think the dust has settled on the election results, and the fact is this government is here to stay.
Okay.
And Narendra Modi 3.0 is also a message on continuity. The CCS, the Cabinet Committee of Security, all the vital ministries are going to be well intact with the Prime Minister.
Well, I don't want to second guess the Prime Minister. Surprises are known to happen. We'll get the list, I suppose, later in the evening. They'll put it up on the PIB website. But let me bring in Nalin Mehta on this. Nalin Mehta, allies don't need much convincing. It's the other way around. In fact, you were there when Ram Madhav said that he won't be surprised if more allies decide, or more parties decide to ally with the NDA 3.0 because they think that it has an agenda.
So I think at the moment it looks like that. At the moment it looks like more continuity. But I don't think we can say this is going to last forever. The BJP will certainly try and expand the ambit of the NDA, no question about that. The issues, I think, Rahul, will come when it comes to contentious issues, when it comes to issues which are actually antithetical to the BJP's agenda, as it were, things like reservations of Muslims and so on, which Naidu has already spoken about, around things like special status for Bihar or for Andhra and so on. It's when it comes down to the real business, as it were. That's when we will see the give and take, and that's where the nub will lie. But for the moment, I think the optics that all sides want to put out, at least publicly, is that is business as usual. This is very different, by the way, from the optics of previous alliance or coalition governments that we've seen, at least at the beginning and at the incipient stage, as it were.
Right. So why is it different, Mr. Shekhar Iyer? How is it that the UPA was such a scrappy, messy coming together, especially in 2009? And of course, we didn't know what happened behind the scenes. And why is this a little more well-oiled, so to speak, even though the Prime Minister hasn't really had a direct interface with dealing with pressures from allies?
Well, if you look at this time, there is no immediate alternative available. See, that is something that both the TDP and JDU understand very well. That is why all those signals that emanated from the opposition side to Chandrababu Naidu as well as to Nitish Kumar I mean, and you saw their responses also, and they came out and said, no, we are with the NDA. There is no need for any speculation. That was in fact saying that at the moment they don't see an alternative. So, and it is in their interests, particularly in the interest of, say, Chandrababu Naidu, that his government settles down in Andhra Pradesh and moves forward. You know, he has been out for the last 5 years. He would not want any experimentation or any political adventure at this stage. And similarly with Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar has just left the old alliance and come here. So the room for maneuverability is very limited this time. Of course, the problems that were faced by UPA 1 as well as UPA 2 were different. Rather, UPA 2 were more serious. But in the case of UPA 1, you had the left supporting from outside. So there was insistence on a minimum common program and things like that. But here it is completely different. That is why I do not think even there will be a minimum common program, because the Prime Minister, I believe, has made it clear the minimum program is contained in his mantra. That is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So there are things which are different here. And the Prime Minister at the moment, I do not see the BJP trying to push any contentious issues at this time.
Okay.
At least they would want the coalition to settle down and see that everybody is comfortably placed to focus on the larger agenda of Viksit Bharat, which the Prime Minister is very, very keen.
Yeah, keen to hit the ground running. Mr. Ansari, let me ask you this. Look, one thing we are going to witness once again, I don't know if it's a boycott, it's a conscious decision, or if there were limited invites, but the opposition is not going to be there. Now, that doesn't spell, I don't know, but I don't think that's a good message to be sending out. If the opposition has decided to not attend, then obviously that is not extremely, that's very churlish of them, to put it frankly.
Well, I agree with you. It doesn't leave a very good taste in the mouth. I don't know how many invitations were sent out and how many weren't.
Okay, I need to interrupt you. There's some breaking news coming in. It's a point that you raised a little while back. Tatkare versus Praful Patel battle holding up. It appears the NCP from claiming some berths for itself. Ajit Pawar has reacted.
प्रधानमंत्री जी के बारे में तीसरी दफ़ा की जिम्मेवारी मोदी साहब के ऊपर दे दी और वो कार्यक्रम हुआ और उसके बाद आज हम ओथ सेरेमनी के लिए आए हैं। एक बात सही है कि दोपहर को मुझे पता चला कि हमारे डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर बीजेपी के जो देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी है महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट में, हमारी महायुति के डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर, तो उन्होंने एक स्टेटमेंट किया है। हमें कल रात को कांटेक्ट किया था, उससे पहले हम सब राजनाथ सिंह जी, अमित भाई और नड्डा जी, इनके साथ एक हमारी मीटिंग भी हुई। हमारे थोड़े बहुत महाराष्ट्र के जो लोकसभा के चुनाव हुए हैं, पूरे देश में हुए, लेकिन महाराष्ट्र के बारे में ये रिजल्ट ऐसा क्यों आया उसके बारे में थोड़ी बहुत चर्चा हुई। और तब मैंने उनको रिक्वेस्ट की थी कि हमारे आज लोकसभा का एक मेंबर है और राज्यसभा का एक मेंबर है, लेकिन 2-3 महीने में हमारे राज्यसभा के टोटल 3 मेंबर होने वाले हैं और लोकसभा के खुद सुनील तटकरे साहब है। ऐसा टोटल राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी की मेंबरों की सदस्य संख्या पार्लियामेंट में और पार्लियामेंट में 4 होने जा रही है, राज्यसभा और लोकसभा पकड़ के। तो हमें एक सीट मिलनी चाहिए, ऐसे हमारी बात हुई। वो बोले ठीक है, आपका कहना सही है, लेकिन उसके बाद कल उनका हमें मैसेज आया कि हम इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज जैसा हमारे शिंदे साहब की पार्टी को दिया है वैसा एक मेंबर लेना चाहते हैं। तो आप सभी को पता है, पूरे देश को पता है, प्रफुल्ल पटेल साहब उन्होंने कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर के नाते बहुत दफ़ा सेंट्रल में काम किया है और कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर होते हुए फिर इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज लेना हमें ठीक नहीं लगा। इसीलिए हमने बताया कि हम रुकने के लिए कुछ दिन के लिए तैयार है, लेकिन हमें कैबिनेट मिनिस्टरशिप चाहिए। तो ये सुनने के बाद वो बोले ठीक है, और फिर उन्होंने जो ऑफ़र की थी इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज की, वो हमने नकार दी। ऐसा जो भी कल से बात हुई उसके बारे में ये सब हुआ है, और आज अभी 7:15 को मेरे ख्याल से सबको ओथ सेरेमनी के लिए बुलाया है। इसमें हम भी जा रहे हैं एज एनडीए के मेंबर के नाते। तो लोकसभेचा निकाल ज्यावेळेस लागला, लोकसभेचा निकाल लागल्यानंतर आपल्याला सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे की एनडीएची लगेचच मीटिंग बोलवलेली होती, म्हणजे 4ला निकाल लागत होता।
Well, let's listen into Praful Patel next, viewers.
देखिए, बात सही है कि हमको राज्य मंत्री स्वतंत्र प्रभार के बारे में सूचना मिली, लेकिन मैं स्वयं भारत सरकार का कैबिनेट मंत्री पहले रह चुका हूं, और इसलिए हमने उनको यही कहा कि भाई देखिए, ये आपने जो ऑफ़र दी है, हमें खुशी है कि आपने हमको एक सूचना भेजी, लेकिन मेरे लिए थोड़ा ये कठिन है कि हम ये पोस्ट को हम पूर्वी में मैं कैबिनेट मंत्री रहे कारण मैं नहीं स्वीकार कर सकता। इसमें कोई ऐसा मतभेद नहीं है, कोई मतलब जो भी कोई अटकलें लगाई जा रही ऐसी कोई भी बात नहीं है। सब कुशल है, सब ठीक है, और हमको ये भी कहा गया है कि कुछ दिनों की आप राह देखिए, हम इसको हम दुरुस्त करेंगे।
Well, a mismatch in expectations there, viewers, though both Mr. Pawar and Praful Patel say that, look, we'll work and we'll resolve this. That's what we've been assured. He wants a full cabinet berth, but the government, or at least the Prime Minister or whoever it is that is negotiating on his behalf, has promised an MOS independent charge. So let's just open this up and go back to some of our guests. Shekhar Iyer, there was, of course, competition between Sunil Tatkare as well as Praful Patel for that lone berth that they're expected to get. But beyond that, there is also a denomination issue. What should we be? Should we be full cabinet, which is what Praful Patel wants, or MOS independent berth, which they've sort of rejected? How do you see this?
Well, a lot has been happening in NCP Ajit Pawar since the Lok Sabha results. We have been hearing that within the party, Ajit Pawar is facing a big problem of sorts, where some of them feel that they should return to the parent party, headed by Sharad Pawar. A lot is happening there. And for the NCP, it is Maharashtra elections which are important rather than a berth in the Modi government. But nevertheless, from the pronouncements that are being made, perhaps, as I said earlier, there could be a second expansion where some accommodation will be made. But you can see that both Ajit Pawar as well as Praful Patel being very careful as to say that this is not some kind of a make or break situation. There is room for possibilities. But I think the BJP would rather want things within the NCP to settle down first, because a lot is happening there. And it has been a big disappointment. And also the fact that many NCP leaders feel that if they don't start flexing from now on, they will not be able to get enough number of assembly seats to contest if this Mahayukti were to last till then. Rahul.
Now, that's an interesting point. That's a very interesting point. Everyone's really looking at the real prize, which is the Maharashtra Assembly. That election will take place in the next 6-8 months. Are you surprised at all, Karan Verma?
Not at all. You know, Rahul, success is the only thing that acts as a glue in keeping a flock together in politics. And it was a drubbing that Ajit Pawar got in the recently concluded. And in fact, 5 MLAs were not present when he had called for an assessment meeting.
Yes.
So the reason why the 39 MLAs with which Ajit Pawar shifted to the Mahayuti to form the government, I think all of them thought that they had a better bet with Ajit Pawar. They would gain a lot. They would have greater opportunities. Now that has deserted them. So they are also rethinking their prospects. And I think Ajit Dada, all said and done, he doesn't have that much of a muscle or bargaining power at this point of time. So he'd also let this wear away.
Okay,
and
let me go across
this
to
as a-
Aman Sharma on this story as it's unfolding. He's in the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan. What a lovely sight. Aman, you're a distance from the main dais, but close enough to see all the action, to get a bird's eye view. What's happening?
Not that close enough. If I was very close enough, I might be taking oath here. But we are near the forecourt, and I can see a huge crowd. Rahul, already, if you can see behind me, already people in thousands have seen them run. There was a long queue outside Rashtrapati Bhavan, 2 to 3 gates from where I came in, and there are people from all walks of life. There are people from various states, BJP workers, BJP leaders who are in to see this historic occasion for Mr. Narendra Modi taking an oath for the third time. This is a historic occasion also for the BJP. I was speaking to a few BJP Karyakartas here who are here from UP and other parts. They say it's a moment of pride for us that the Prime Minister of the BJP is taking oath for the third time. Yes, it is a coalition government. It was a bit of a setback. The election results, downed their spirits a bit on that day when they saw BJP at 240 seats. But today when they are here, it's a moment of pride. They are very, very happy that they have been called here, and a special token of thanks from people here. The small Karyakartas, I'm seeing Mandal Adhyakshas, MLCs, Booth Adhyakshas of the BJP here. So people also thanking the Modi government for thinking about the Karyakarta on the ground, for inviting them to this grand function. Many people here, Rahul, in fact, here at the Rashtrapati Bhavan for the first time ever. So they are enjoying the moment here. It is still 5:30, about a couple of hours to go. The sun is brightly out here. And in an hour or so, we'll see the ministers here coming one by one. And Mr. Narendra Modi will, of course, be leading them for the oath ceremony. And the president will be delivering the oath of secrecy to nearly 67 ministers, Rahul. So that is going to take a while. I think it will be at least a 1.5 hour long function. There are no speeches on this occasion. It's an occasion only to take oath. And Mr. Modi will be followed by senior BJP leaders, Mr. Rajnath Singh, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, Mr. Amit Shah, Nirmala Sitaraman, S. Shankar. There will be a order which will be followed as per the precedence, as per the seniority. We'll also see senior leaders from the opposition, from the allies taking oath here today. Chirag Paswan, Jayant Chaudhary, senior leaders of the TDP who are joining here. Everybody will be here, and you can see the huge crowd behind me. Rahul already building up. Nearly 2,500 people already here. We're expecting about 7,000 people in all by around 7 p.m. when the function will finally begin.
Well, viewers, let's not forget, and we're going to come back to that because we'll have Kamal Sibal with us and Sushant Serene to break down another very important aspect. There are going to be foreign dignitaries from India's neighborhood, the 6 or 7 countries, the Asian countries minus Pakistan. We're going to come out to that for perspective on the global view, how the world is going to look at a Modi 3.0 with a diminished mandate, and of course, how India is going to interact with the world. We come right back, don't go away.
जब हिंदुस्तान मिले हिंदुस्तान से
जेके टायर, देश का टायर।
डायनासोर का अंडा। Oh, damn! World War I की एंटीक गन। Oh, damn! फिर दीवार तोड़ो, फिर बनाओ।
बर्जर डैम स्टॉप लगाओ। इसका नैनो सिलिकॉन टेक्नोलॉजी चढ़ा वाटर प्रूफिंग का कवर जो बिना दीवार तोड़े डैम रिपेयर करे। बर्जर डैम स्टॉप।
नो झंझट, डैम स्टॉप फटाफट।
बोलो, चावल मत बनाना। तेरे नानी के बर्थडे के लिए उनकी वाली बिरयानी बनाई है।
दादा, चावल मत बनाना। नानी के बर्थडे के लिए।
चाचू, बड़ी दादी के बर्थडे के लिए मैंने क्या बनाया बताओ? उनकी वाली बिरयानी।
पिछले 75 सालों से घर घर में प्यार प्रेस्टीज में ही तो पक रहा है। जो अपनों से करे प्यार वो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करे इनकार?
How does one become bold? With smartness or hard work? Advanced by nature, bold by design. The all-new Honda SB160. Play it bold.
वो मिस्टर विकास की फाइल आप पॉलिसी बाजार। मैम, आपका हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अप्रूव हो गया है। अब आप सर को घर ले जा सकती हैं।
क्लेम के टाइम पे हमेशा आपकी हेल्प को तैयार। पॉलिसी बाजार, 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 390 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
Somewhere, a new road has enabled science to reach a remote village, so that Purni can think of reaching the moon one day. At Ultratech, India's #1 cement, we believe as India builds, India grows.
Curiosity can take you to some out of the world places. Curious about this place? Scan this QR code before I take it off with my Seat tires.
Seat. Crafted for the curious.
कॉमेडी देखते हैं?
रोमांस,
रोम-कॉम।
इसी तरह मैक्स लाइफ के प्लान्स देते हैं डबल बेनिफिट, 99.65% क्लेम्स पेड रेशियो का भरोसा और 12% तक का डिस्काउंट। आज ही लीजिए। गुरुजी, क्या दिखा?
तरक्की की धूल, हाईवे, रनवे
और मेरा घर,
धूल का फूल। बर्जर एंटी डस्ट पेंट, इसकी डस्ट गार्ड टेक्नोलॉजी धूल को दीवारों पे टिकने ना दे। धूल आए पर घर पर ना टिक पाए। बर्जर एंटी डस्ट पेंट।
Progress is a design language created to suit your style and a spacious interior with room for big ideas. An all-wheel drive that insists on weather and range measured by the freedom it gives you. That's progress you can feel.
It's the 100-day target. So there is a big agenda that he was talking about even before the elections sort of began to unfold. And I think it was around the first phase, just after the first phase, that he said that he was actually having meetings with his inner core team to decide that 100-day agenda, because he was confident of coming back, and more importantly for him was to implement from day one. So day one will begin from tonight, knowing the Prime Minister.
Yeah. George Korean, there would be a little bit of a responsibility on the opposition as well to not be seen as opposing for the sake of opposition. Sorry, Mr. Rajagopalan, I'll come to in just a bit. You wanted to say something. But yes, George Korean, responsibility on the larger opposition as well. That at least when it comes to things that are for the benefit of the country, you need to come together. Some of the things they said in the past, but they opposed because the Narendra Modi government was doing, the farm laws was a prime example of that. So even if you disagree a little bit with how the new government is doing it, GST for example, you've got to understand that the government of the day is the government of the day. You're the opposition of the day. And you have to make your points heard, but you cannot be seen as stalling or opposing for the sake of opposition.
Well, Shivani, the Congress Party or the India bloc, we are not opposing for the sake of opposing. Let me make it clear. Having said that, you know, we are in a role, and we are going to play a strong opposition in the parliament, and we are going to voice out in the larger interest of India and the people of India. Having said that, you know, you cannot ignore the fact that in the past, be it Chandrababu Naidu or Nitish Kumar, they had the relations were not that too good with Narendra Modi or the Bharatiya Janata Party. The relations were on and off. So you know, it's up to the mercy of Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar that the government will run. So I'm really doubting, you know, how far they will be able to stretch themselves. The complete 5-year term looks unlikely to me at this point in time. But having said that, we as a strong opposition, we will not, it's in our nature and it's in our character that we will not try to break away the pre-poll alliances that we have, and we wish them all the best.
Yes, R. Rajagopal.
Why did Jairam Ramesh say that special package will be given on the very first day to Chandrababu Naidu and also to Mr. Nitish Kumar? What John Korean said is he may be right in his view, but from yesterday's speech of Mr. Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu,
Sir, have you noticed something? Have you noticed something interesting? Remember when the last UPA government was being formed, there were certain middlemen type of individuals who were running around on behalf of their clients trying to insert ministers in certain portfolios. Do you remember all of that? And then there were these tapes that appeared, and a whole cast of characters got betrayed in those tapes. You might remember, sir, with great aplomb at those days, this story was being reported aggressively. So there is nothing like this.
Tape or P. Chidambaram asking CBDT to investigating. Mr. George should understand these things. Second thing, coming to the point, I deal with two aspects, one political and administrative things. Administrative-wise, Mr. Narendra Modi set the ball in motion from today onwards. And Cabinet Secretary a short while ago had a meeting of 125 days, Rahul Shivashankar.
Right.
Not 100 days.
Yeah.
And 25 days more for youth. So therefore, you compare that with the induction of the ministers. To, at least 18 ministers are very youth.
Yeah.
Giving projection as a youth cabinet. Second, politically, the best answer to Mr. Narendra Modi, Nitish Kumar, and Naidu, 3 N's, is katakat, 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 katakat.
Okay, all right. We have to slip into a very short break. I do thank the guests who are not continuing with us. We'll be right back with more and we'll get you some latest updates as well as far as the happenings in the national capital are concerned. Stay with us. All right, we're building up to the big swearing-in ceremony of Modi Sarkar 3.0. Prime Minister all set to take oath as the Prime Minister yet again for the third consecutive time and the first one since Jawaharlal Nehru to do so. A quick check of the big faces that could be the new entrants from the faces that continue to be, as far as the top guns are concerned, the ones that have been retained in the new cabinet. Now, a lot of speculation around Amit Shah, served as the Home Minister in the last cabinet, won the Gandhinagar seat. That was never a doubt really, but there have been some speculations of whether he was going to go back to being a BJP president versus being in the ministry. So the pictures earlier from the Prime Minister's residence making it clear he's very much there. Rajnath Singh served as Defence Minister, won Lucknow, was one of the people who was able to weather the storm that BJP faced in Uttar Pradesh. Nitin Gadkari served as Road Transport Highways Minister. Many said he is the top performer, at least as far as Modi 2.0 is concerned, and he of course won from Nagpur very comfortably. Hardeep Singh Puri served as Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas. He was also Minister of Urban Affairs and Housing. And these are also key deliverables of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led 2.0 Sarkar. Arjun Ram Meghwal served as Minister of Law and Justice. Remember, he came in as far as this ministry is concerned when Kiren Rijiju was moved away. Ashwani Vaishnav, another star performer from Modi 2.0. He held as many as 3 key portfolios. The top one, of course, was Railways under him. And Railways is that big ticket infrastructure that Narendra Modi Sarkar has been really focusing on. They would want somebody who can run it efficiently. Communications, electronics and IT were also under him, but Railways was the point of contention that was being discussed. With a JDU type ally from Bihar, Railways is always big for the state of Bihar, but it looks like the Narendra Modi government will retain Railways. Piyush Goyal is entering as an elected member of Lok Sabha this time around. He has held 3 portfolios as far as Modi Cabinet 2.0 is concerned. In many ways on financial issues with all kinds of FTAs, etc. taking precedence and prominence. He's the big face. Commerce and Industry, Textiles and Consumer Affairs. Also someone who can come out and present the BJP's point of view and can be the BJP's face from the government towards the media. Remember, he's the one who addressed the press conference when there were allegations made by Rahul Gandhi over the alleged stock market scam. Jyotiraditya Scindia, the one who entered from Congress last time around, he was quickly inducted into the central government. He served as Civil Aviation Minister. He's of course one from Guna, his Gad again. Now civil aviation again is a prime focus, new airports, more delivery, more flights, cheaper flights and things like that. His tenure was possibly a little bit more rocky than some of his other colleagues. Kiren Rijiju, of course, he served as the Law Minister and the Sports Minister in the past. We are being told that he could be, of course, in the cabinet one more time. Jitendra Singh, he served as the Union Minister and, of course, MOS, PMO as well. He won from Udhampur. He is likely to continue. Sarbananda Sonowal, he is, of course, from Assam, big northeast face. Along with Himanta Biswa Sarma and Kiren Rijiju, he served as the Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. Again, a big focus of the government. And remember, Modi Sarkar 2.0 already gave a task to those who will be in 3.0 to present a 100-day program, and a lot of these ministers would have done that. In some of those key deliverable ministries, you do want that there should be some continuity. George Kurian is with us. George Kurian, not many surprises and certainly no pushes and pulls that maybe the Congress and other parties or the India Alliance members were expecting. This is as smooth as it goes, regardless of the result.
Well, Shivani, good afternoon to you, to my co-panelist on your show, and to your audience. It's a good thing that the Indian government is keeping in line with the priority accorded by India to the neighborhood first policy, and they have invited our neighboring countries, be it Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan. Having said that, I really appreciate if the government could have invited Pakistan also, because that way the bilateral talks could have taken a shape, and things could have been more clear as far as Pakistan is concerned. Having said that, I also want to reiterate for the benefit of your audience is that this 3.0 NDA-led Modi government won't be in that capacity as we have seen back in 2014 or be 2019, because here the NDA allies will play an important role with respect to they're saying as well, because it's a moral defeat for the Modi government, because they have been limited to 240 and decimated from 303. So that is one thing, and they haven't crossed the halfway mark on their own. So that is one thing, and I really doubt if this government will complete a full term, because we also understand that Bihar is going to come, the assembly elections in Bihar is next year. Anything, because Nitish Kumar has been very vocal about the special status to Bihar and beat Chandrababu Naidu with respect to Andhra Pradesh. So these are the priorities. They will keep pushing the Modi government, and they don't live up to the Modi government or the NDA doesn't live up to the expectations of Nitish Kumar or Bihar.
There is no denying that there are going to be issues. Some will be contentious, and that's how it goes in a democracy. I don't think there weren't contentious issues even last time around either. But Rahul, what do you believe? Will those contentious issues derail Modi 3.0?
Very highly unlikely, of course, because look, as it is, there are no ideological issues that the BJP has already sort of ring-fenced. So they've already had experience where they set aside some of their core issues of the past. If you remember Article 370, Ram Mandir in previous iterations, and also Article 370 wasn't on the so-called syllabus of the government of Jammu and Kashmir when they tied up with PDP. It was to actually bring that in, that the BJP sacrificed its government. There are no real ideological deal-breaking issues right now. Even on the UCC, it's now pretty much accepted that the states will bring in their own variations on the UCC and implement them. I don't even think there will be a requirement for a national level UCC beyond just symbolism. That is something that I also suggest that we should look out for. I think what is going to happen over the next few years is that increasingly BJP-run states will bring in what they believe are legislations to bring in a UCC. So that key ideological issues also been set aside. Yes, there could be, however, some tension with regards to special economic packages. Now, whether you want to call them special economic packages of the kind that are no longer allowed, of course, under the new provision, but you could have a little back and forth between the allies and the BJP on the terms of those financial, let's call it bailout packages.
Or grants, special grants given.
Remember, Chandrababu Naidu has just come to power once again in Andhra Pradesh. He's going to look to consolidate. It's a very opportune moment for him because the Congress did not make an impression on voters. The BJP remains a very small ally even now. They are by far a room to sort of grow and consolidate itself. The YSRCP also pushed to the margin. It will take a little while before Jagan Reddy can get his act together. So there is also, of course, the issue of succession in the TDP, which needs to be taken care of. For all of that, Chandrababu Naidu is going to want to show to the people of Andhra that his association with the Prime Minister has been beneficial to them in a transformative way. And of course in Bihar, the same issue. Bihar goes to about polls in about 17 months, willy-nilly. And there again, the BJP would like at some level or the other to consolidate. They have lost about 8 or 9 seats there. They don't want to see the RJD gaining ground. It had gained a lot of ground in the last election. There were question marks around the JDU, but this time they aren't. And therefore, if you see, Bihar has got a fairly good representation this time. The LJP has been accommodated in at least 5 more leaders. If you just quickly look at the math, I think it's about 5 or 6 people have come in from Bihar.
I think it was 5 last time and
That's right.
6 this
So they've
time.
actually increased the number. And again, there the opposition is goading Nitish Kumar to demand a special financial deal from the centre. So that is something that Nitish Kumar will be looking over his shoulder at, because remember, he's the Chief Minister of Bihar. He's a kingmaker at the centre, and he wants to tell the people of Bihar that, look, he has influence over Mr. Modi. So I don't think they're too bothered about cabinet berths. I think they're going to look
more of what